Hi, I'm Sophia, and today I'm going to share with you how to scale your coaching business to consistent 30K months and beyond the simple, sustainable way. I scaled my coaching business to over $1 million organically in under 4 years of starting my business and have now made millions of dollars, and I've supported my clients to make 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and even 80K per month in their coaching business without burning out. So I'm going to walk you through the only simple yet essential 3 pillars that you need to do just that. And I'm gonna take you around my house as we do this to keep this a bit of fun. Let's go. All right, we've come over to my kitchen so I can make a quick cup of tea. Now, there are 4 phases that go into a funnel to be able to get to 30K months and beyond that. Only 4 phases. And it's really important that we get these 4 phases right. So phase number 1 is at the top of the funnel, right? And this is attract. This is how we attract our ideal clients. And this is really important because if you're not attracting people, you won't be signing clients. So we need to get this right. And then after attract, we have nurture. How do we warm up those leads that we have just attracted so that they like us, know us, and trust us? Because otherwise they're not gonna buy from us. Once we have nurtured them, then we want to convert them from a lead into a high-paying, high-quality client. This is really important because this is where your impact really starts to take place. And once we have converted them into a client, now we need to deliver the service to provide that transformation. They are the only 4 phases. And there are lots of ways that you can do those 4 things. Unlike what all of the other business coaches will tell you, there isn't just one magical secret way. There are lots of ways, which is great because then you get to pick and choose the ways that feel the best for you. I'm really big on not cornering my clients into one rigid approach that might not align with their goals, their personality, their strengths, and their stage of life as well. So it's really important we take all of that into consideration. So for example, when it comes to attracting, you could do so through organic marketing, which is free approaches. You could also do so through paid marketing, which is paid approaches. And then you can also do so through collaboration marketing. They're the 3 ways that you can attract leads into your business, and I like to teach all 3 to my clients. When it comes to nurturing your audience, again, there's 3 core ways, but one of the best ways is through long form content because bingers are buyers. So if we can get our audience to consume our content, it's gonna build that like no trust factor much faster than if they were to only consume your short form content. And then when it comes to converting your clients, you could do this through sales calls, or you could do this through an application process or in the DMs, for example. So you can see that some ways are more scalable and maybe more desirable than others. But the main thing to know here is that if one of your phases of your funnel isn't working so well, that is naturally going to affect the scalability of all of the other areas, which is going to cap your growth. So for example, if you are struggling to attract leads into your business, well then my guess is that you're also struggling to nurture people because you just don't have that many people in your space. And then you're definitely not converting very many people because you don't have many people that you're dealing with to begin with, and then your impact is suffering when it comes to delivery. So you can see how one phase will affect the other. Or if we do it in the role reversal, let's say you got a huge amount of leads coming in and they're ideal clients and you know how to nurture them, but your sales process is lacking. This is going to be a real bottleneck for you because if you can't convert those people, then all of your efforts to attract and nurture them is sort of wasted because you don't know how to turn them into a high-paying, high-quality client. So you can see how every single 4 of these phases is really essential. And I don't know about you, but I got into business because I wanted to help a lot of people and enjoy my freedom and spaciousness in the process. So I'm a really big fan of creating a business model that allows you to do both, so that as your business gets bigger, your life actually gets better. Let me teach you how. All right, I've got my cup of tea, so let's get into breaking down the Scalable System, which is my proven process to spaciously scale your coaching business without burning out. Now, let me give you a bit of a backstory as to how I created this approach. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into my business to learn all of the different ways that you can grow. Some felt more aligned than others, some worked faster than others, but they all worked. And what I learned is that anything that you go all in on will work for you. But I'm all about creating a business model that feels spacious and simple and sustainable. And so I created this system based on what are the essential things that are in common with all of the businesses that are scaling in a way that's not costing them all of their time and their sanity in the process. And I wanted to create a system that didn't focus on the things that didn't matter, and it only focused on the things that are absolutely essential. So I'm not one of those coaches that's going to tell you the trending audio you should use this week or how many hashtags are essential to use this week. I like focusing on things that are going to remain the same despite all of the algorithm changes, the new social media platforms that arise, and AI. And you will know that this system is working for you when 3 things are happening at the same time. Number 1, your income is growing. Number 2, your impact is growing. And number 3, your freedom is expanding. So when you have all 3 of those in place, that is when you know that you have mastered the scalable system. So let's break this down. And to do so, we are going to use a traffic light system process so that you can rate yourself from red to yellow to green to see what areas are your strengths versus what areas need some more work right now. So grab a piece of paper and let's go. All right, I thought we'd get comfy on the couch because I'm going to take you through the first essential pillar, which is sustainable strategy. This is your way of attracting leads, nurturing those leads, and getting them ready to be able to buy from you. This is essential to have in place, otherwise you're not going to be able to sign clients. So let's start with the daily lead attractor. This is your way of attracting high quality leads on a daily basis in your business. Now, one of my clients, Tara from Australia, when she first came to me, she had no real strategy in place and was barely making any money in her business because of it. I taught her the daily lead attractor and she went on to make over 310,000 Australian dollars within 5.5 months of working with me. She is absolutely killing it in her business today, and one of the core reasons is her ability to bring in her ideal clients on a daily basis using this process. So I want you to rate yourself out of red, yellow, and green with where you sit when it comes to attracting high quality leads in your business every day. So you are red if your lead flow is poor, like you just don't really have any leads coming in at all, and when they do, it's like an accident. You are yellow if you are attracting some leads, but it's lacking the consistency and the momentum you need to reach your current goals. And then we've got green if you are attracting high quality leads every single day in your business. So are you red, are you yellow, or are you green? Next, we're going to move on to the weekly audience nurturer. So once you have attracted those leads, they are cold. We need to warm them up so they like, know, and trust you. And that's where the weekly audience nurturer comes in. And if we don't have this in place, selling to these leads is going to be hard work. And we don't want it to be hard work. One of my clients, Penny, she actually doubled her business since working with me from using the weekly audience nurturer. She is so great at live content in her Facebook community to build that relationship with her audience. And this makes the sales part way easier because they already know about what she teaches and who she is, and they trust her because she's showing up consistently. And when you do this correctly, you will take your audience from cold to warm. So where are you at in the traffic light system? We've got red, which is I don't have any way to nurture my audience right now. We are yellow if you nurture every now and again when you've got time or when you feel like it, but there's no real strategy in place there. And you are green if you are nurturing your audience every single week in your business to turn those leads from cold to warm. And now let's move on to the third component that makes up sustainable strategy, which is the monthly event engine. This is going to take your leads from warm to hot, making sales a complete breeze. So one of my clients, Georgia from the UK, she has made over £500,000 in her business, and a big part of her approach is using the monthly event engine, running these live and free, sometimes in person and sometimes paid workshops. There's a few ways that you can run them, and I like to teach all of them because there's a time and place for each of them dependent on the person, their stage of business, and what their goals are. So she runs this and is absolutely smashing it in her business because of it. Red, I am not running events at all right now, and if that is the case, my friend, you are leaving money on the table. Yellow, I'm running events every now and again, but I don't have a solid process in place. And green, I am running a minimum of 1 event per month in my business. So are you red, yellow, or green? So they are the 3 components that make up sustainable strategy. And when you have all 3 of those in place and they are all green, that is when you are never going to run out of leads and you're going to have a really easy and solid process of getting them to that buying stage. I have clients that will find me and 24 hours later sometimes are a high-paying, high-quality client because this process is so dialed in. Now, if right now you've got a lot of reds going on and maybe a yellow or 2, then I want to invite you to click the link below to see how we can best help you to turn those reds and yellows into greens, because that is essential in order to move forwards. Alrighty, we are back. I thought I'd come out here because it's just such good weather today. All right, so we've gone through sustainable strategy. Now let's move on to the second essential pillar that goes into creating a spacious scaling business model at 30K months and beyond, which is seamless sales. If you want to be signing clients, making money, helping people, you need to learn sales. But we want to do so in a really seamless way. And there are 3 core components that go into making that happen. The first is having a no-brainer offer. If you truly want sales to be seamless, you simply need to have such a good offer that your ideal clients feel so silly saying no. One of my clients, Chantel from New Zealand, who is an e-com business coach, she hadn't even launched her business and she had signed 24 high ticket clients before even launching using this very process. Now there are 5 key components that go into making this happen. That's for another video, but right now you will know whether your offer is a no-brainer based on, are people saying yes to it? Are people jumping on a wait list? Are people asking you if they can be a client of yours and they're saying yes when you do actually make the offer to them? That's how you know. So red, I don't have a scalable offer in place. For example, you might be capped at 10 clients, or people are just simply saying no to the offer that you actually have, or it's designed in a way that actually isn't enjoyable for you. And I know that sounds crazy, but I hear people say that to me, that they don't even like what they do. And that's a real problem. You have to design it in a way that 1, produces results for your clients, but 2, that you actually enjoy showing up for, because otherwise it's not sustainable long term. You are yellow if you have a scalable offer, but people aren't buying it. Your conversion rate isn't that healthy. And then you are green if you love your offer, it's scalable, and people are saying yes to it. So are you red, are you yellow, or are you green? Moving on to the second component that goes into having a seamless sales process is the sell via chat method. And this is a variety of ways that you can have conversations with your ideal clients to turn them into paying clients. So you could do this through sales calls, you could do this through DMs, and a whole bunch of other processes. But if you currently don't have a solid sales process and your conversion rate isn't very high, we want to fix this ASAP. Otherwise, all of that work that you do in strategy is just going to be wasted because you're going to lose them in this piece here. So one of my clients, Tanya, she actually met me when she had plateaued in her business. She was doing 10 to 15K months, maybe a 20K month here and there, but she was losing so many people and she just felt like her leads were running dry. So she came to me. She actually purchased one of my 3-hour workshops. She watched it and it was all about the sell via chat method. She implemented that process and went on to make $60,000 in sales using that one process. She obviously loved that so much that she wanted to work with me long term. She joined my program and then she went on to make another $30,000 in sales in the first week of working with me as well. So that is insane results, and just goes to show you how important having the sell via chat method really is. So you are red if your conversion rate is below 20% when you make an offer to a qualified lead. You are yellow if your conversion rate is between 20 and 50% when you make an offer to a qualified lead. And you are green when your conversion rate is 50% plus when you make an offer to a qualified lead. And then the third component that goes into making sales seamless is what I like to call the retention builder. This is how we keep the clients long term that we bring into our world. So instead of chasing new clients again and again and again, create such a powerful experience that your clients actually don't even want to leave. One of my clients, Holly from the UK, who is a OBM, she came to me when she was also plateaued in her business because she would get a client, deliver the service. She was so good at what she would do that then they would leave, and then she'd have to get another client, another client, another client. When she came into my program, we fixed up a few things, but one of the things that we focused on was actually the retention builder, so that she wasn't constantly having to sign new clients or have a really clunky process at actually re-signing and keeping her existing clients. So we implemented the retention builder, and she was able to go away for 6 weeks on her honeymoon with her husband, traveling the world, which is just awesome, and kept all of her clients and built it in a way where she was able to do both. And this is the power of the retention builder. You are red if your retention rate is below 30%. You are yellow if your retention rate is between 30 and 50%, and you are green if your retention rate is above 50%. Now, these numbers are high, but I'm so big on impact and client delivery that my standards are very high here, because I think if you do a really good job and you design your offer really well, there's no reason for your clients to leave after a short period of time. I've had clients work with me for years and years and years, and they're still working with me today because I'm still supporting them. They're still getting results. All right, we have come into the bedroom for the final essential pillar that makes up the scalable system, because if you can't make money from your bed, you're doing it wrong. So the third and final pillar is simple systems, and this is essential to being able to scale without burning out. Because if you are doing everything manually, if you are doing everything yourself, and if you are doing more than you actually even need to do, so many people work harder rather than smarter, then you will simply burn out before you get anywhere near your revenue goals. Because here's a big belief that I had for a long time that was not true and didn't serve me, and that was, if I wanted to grow my revenue, I simply needed to work more. I simply needed to work harder, and it couldn't be further from the truth. So let's dive into what simple systems actually is. The first component is the identity upgrade, and this is actually about your mindset and your nervous system and energetics. And you might be wondering, Sophia, how is that a system? Well, it's a system for your mind, and this is so important because mindset absolutely plays a role in your success. Our thoughts will create our feelings will create the actions we do or do not take, and our actions will create our results. And so it all the way starts with our thoughts. What thoughts are running the show? Like I just gave you an example of, I had a thought that scaling meant exhausting myself and working harder. And so funnily enough, I stayed in that stage of my business for a really long time until I uncovered that thought, questioned it, debunked it, and then I went on to scale my business. And I went from being plateaued at about 30K per month to then scaling to over 100K per month consistently, and we're still growing every single month. So it's really important that you have a strong identity upgrade that is an energetic match for the results that you actually want. Now, one of my clients, Abby from the UK, she had burnt out 3 times. She had shut her business down 3 times and restarted it because she had learned such unsustainable approaches from other coaches in the past. So it was safe to say she had a lot of fear and doubt about restarting her business again and whether that was going to be possible for her in a more sustainable way. So we started with the identity upgrade, and I cleaned up her beliefs with her, and she went on to make $70,000 within a 30-day period using the scalable system after we started with the identity upgrade. Super, super powerful stuff. Let's rate yourself from red to yellow to green with the identity upgrade. So red, I don't know what to focus on when things feel difficult or unclear. You are yellow if you can identify problems, but you don't always know how to fix them. And you are green if you know exactly what to focus on to move forward when things aren't working and you feel regulated in the process. So I used to feel so dysregulated when something went wrong or I failed or something didn't work in my business. And now that rarely happens. I'm so calm and regulated because I know that it's a part of business, and me worrying about it and making a big deal of it is not going to actually support me to move forwards. I've normalized that from time to time there are going to be challenges, and that is okay. So are you red, yellow, or green when it comes to the identity upgrade? Now moving on to the second component of Simple Systems, and that is the organized backend. I am your typical Virgo. I'm such an organized person, and a lot of my clients start working with me because that doesn't come naturally to them, and they really want support in that area because you can't scale chaos. So I teach my organized backend process of how to organize the back end of your business, the behind the scenes that you see. Others don't see it, but you see it, and it affects how you feel. So I've got a full process for this, and people are often quite mind blown because it ends up saving them 10 hours of work a week in their time that they didn't even realize was being taken up by just having really clunky processes. Tamika, who isn't the most tech savvy person, doesn't love tech, doesn't love the back end side of her business, she just wants to help her clients. I taught her the organized back end, and it absolutely changed the game for her. She can't believe how easy it is to find things and navigate things and use things, and she was overcomplicating it so much more than she needed to, and now she's freed up all of this time in her week, which is giving her more time to sign more clients. And yesterday on our coaching call, she actually told me she signed 3 clients in one day, which in the past was not possible for her because she was just so busy doing all of this back-end manual stuff. Let's rate yourself here. So red, my back end is chaotic and disorganized, and I'm extremely overwhelmed. Yellow, some structure exists, but things still feel clunky or inefficient. And green, my business runs smoothly with simple, effective systems in place. Which one are you? All right, and moving on to the third and final component, and this is the operations stack, which is super essential when it comes to scaling your business. So this is where we look at systemizing, automating, delegating, and deleting things that are unnecessary so we can get our time and energy back, because you can't do it all. I know you're probably superhuman. I know you can probably do a lot of things. We can't do it all the time, not from a sustainable place anyways. One of my clients, Naomi, she was so overwhelmed and burnt out because she was just doing everything herself. She had that mentality of it's just so much easier when I do it, and she just didn't know how to hire properly. She didn't know how to, delegate, and she was also just doing so many things that she didn't actually need to do to grow her business. So we did a full business audit. We deleted a lot, we delegated a lot, and we automated a lot. And she, oh my God, she has so much more space in her days and her weeks. She feels so much more confident and clear, and her business is growing faster than ever before. So very powerful and important to have the operations stack in place. So you are red if you have no templates and you repeat everything manually. You are yellow if you have some templates, but they're hard to find or use consistently. You're not, you're delegating a few things. Maybe you have a VA, but you're not really using your VA to the best of your abilities. And you are green if you have an organized operations stack for all key tasks, and you're working smarter, not harder, in every way you possibly can. So that is the 3 pillars that make up the scalable system, which is essential when it comes to spaciously scaling your business. Now, if you've just completed this process, my guess is that you've got a lot of colors going on here. Maybe you've got a lot of reds, a couple of yellows, maybe a couple of greens, or maybe a nice even variety. But either way, if it's not all green, there's some work to do there, because you will have bottlenecks going on that would be stopping you from growing your business in the way that you truly deserve and desire to experience. If that is you, and you want to turn these reds and yellows into green, then I would love to help you. You can click the link below to see how working together might be the right fit for you, and we can go from there, because I would love to support you. If you are a coach or online service provider and you want to help more people, you want to make more money, and you want to have more freedom in the process, then I would love to support you, as that's exactly what we do around here. And if not, no worries. I hope you got so much out of today, and I'll speak to you all very soon.